and welcome to Gender Perspectives. This is the show where we unpack the issues that shape identity, challenge norms, and drive change. I am Uchenna Chimbi Olwa. Thank you for joining us. And I would like to start with this question. What does it truly mean to be a man? Is it strength without vulnerability? Because from a young age, many boys are taught to hide their feelings, toughen up, and fit into a mold that defines masculinity in narrow, often harmful ways. But today, we're going to take a closer look at this right after this break.
The way we see the world shapes the way we change it. Gender isn't just a checkbox, it's a lens, one that helps us understand the world more deeply and act more fairly. Gender Perspectives, a program for those ready to see more, do more, and be more. Designed to challenge assumptions, ignite conversations, and build inclusive solutions across every sector of society.
We are not, fighting the men. We are not saying we are equal in terms of rights. We're only asking they should recognize our existence.
Join us on Gender Perspectives, showing every Saturday by 4 p.m. Repeat every Wednesdays by 5 p.m. and Thursdays by 3 p.m. Change begins with perspective. Let's widen yours.
Now, around the world, traditional masculine norms often promote strength, dominance, and emotional restraint, leaving little room for vulnerability and empathy or even self-expression. And these expectations not only limit men and boys, but they also reinforce, gender inequality across society. So now, in this background report, we're going to take a deeper look at the roots of masculine norms, how they've been shaped by culture, media, and history, and also examine their impact on mental health, on relationships, and on gender roles. We'll also explore how individuals and communities are challenging these norms and redefining masculinity in more inclusive and humane ways.
The concept of masculinity has long been considered a defining pillar of societal structure, shaping the roles, behaviors, and identities of half the world's population. Yet in recent decades, the idea of masculinity has come under increasing scrutiny, not as a biological certainty, but as a social construct that is both learned and performed. The metaphor of the mask of masculinity encapsulates the complex reality that many men do not simply become masculine, they are taught, encouraged, and often pressured to perform masculinity in specific, rigid ways. This performance can act as a mask, concealing vulnerability, emotion, and authentic self-expression behind a socially sanctioned version of what it means to be a man. Historically, masculinity has been defined by a narrow set of traits: strength, stoicism, dominance, rationality, competitiveness, and emotional restraint. These ideals have been reinforced over centuries through institutions such as the family, military, religion, education systems, and the media. While these attributes are not inherently negative, they become problematic when they are seen as exclusive markers of manhood, excluding traits such as empathy, nurturance, sensitivity, and cooperation. In this way, masculinity becomes not just a set of traits, but a performance, an identity that must be constantly asserted, maintained, and protected. The metaphor of the mask is especially powerful because it suggests concealment. Many men learn from an early age to suppress aspects of their humanity, such as fear, sadness, emotional need, or uncertainty, because these qualities are associated with weakness or femininity. Crying is discouraged, affection between men is mocked, and asking for help is seen as a failure. Instead, men are often encouraged to assert control, seek dominance, avoid vulnerability, and measure self-worth through external success. Well, these socialized behaviors are not simply personal or psychological, they have broader social consequences. Rigid notions of masculinity are closely tied to issues such as gender-based violence, emotional repression, substance abuse, and mental health crises. Statistics in many countries show that men are less likely to seek help for depression or anxiety, and more likely to die by suicide. Furthermore, the cultural expectation that men should always be in control can lead to aggression and violence when control is lost or challenged. In this way, the performance of masculinity not only harms the individual but also affects relationships, families, workplaces, and entire communities. Importantly, masculinity is not monolithic. It varies across cultures, historical periods, races, classes, and sexual orientations. For example, working-class masculinity may emphasize physical labor and toughness, while elite masculinity may center on authority and intellectual control. In some cultural contexts, masculinity is linked to honor, religious observance, or community leadership. However, what all these versions of masculinity share is the presence of social roles, spoken or unspoken, that prescribe how men should behave and what they should avoid in order to remain manly. These norms often exclude or marginalize those who do not fit the mold, including men who are emotional, disabled, or economically disadvantaged. In response to the limitations imposed by traditional masculinity, a growing number of scholars, activists, and educators have begun to advocate for a more flexible and inclusive understanding of male identity. This movement does not seek to eliminate masculinity, but to broaden it, to allow for a fuller range of human expression among men. Concepts such as positive masculinity, inclusive masculinity, and healthy masculinity have emerged in academic and activist spaces, encouraging men to embrace emotional honesty, empathy, and mutual respect without losing their sense of self. Popular culture has also begun to reflect this shift. From public figures speaking openly about mental health to campaigns challenging domestic violence and toxic behavior, there is a slow but steady effort to redefine what strength, courage, and success mean for men. These cultural moments are important, as they help challenge the stigma attached to vulnerability and offer alternative models of manhood that prioritize emotional intelligence and ethical responsibility. In conclusion, the discourse around masculinity, symbolized by the metaphor of the mask, is ultimately a conversation about freedom. It invites society to question the constraints placed on male identity and to imagine new ways of being that are more humane, inclusive, and psychologically healthy. Removing the mask of masculinity does not mean rejecting masculinity altogether. Rather, it means allowing men to be full human beings, capable of love, pain, compassion, and change. It is a critical step toward individual healing and collective progress in the ongoing evolution of gender relations.
Get plugged into the heartbeat of entertainment on The Hub, your ultimate show on e-vibes. From trending stories and social media drama to top charting music, must-watch movies and exciting moments from the world of arts, we've got it all. Join us for unmissable conversations with your favorite entertainment personalities, plus fun segments every week.
So I should try harder. So
Okay, I don't know that one.
outfit of the day.
Oh, I don't do that.
Oh.
That's some Gen Z stuff.
Oh, now you say it's a Gen Z stuff.
It's everything you love about entertainment, served fresh every week at 1 p.m. with weekend repeats just in case you missed it. The Hubs on eVibes, where the vibes never stop. Only on Signature TV.
I hope you enjoyed that background report. Welcome back. If you're still joining us or if you're just joining us, this is Gender Perspectives on Signature TV. Now, today's topic, it takes us into the often unspoken realities of masculinity. Now, we'll hear directly from voices who will shed more light on these issues. Our guests will help us unpack how these expectations shape identity and relationships and mental health, and why rethinking masculinity is a crucial step towards gender equality for all. Now, with me in the studio today is Mrs. Faith Ihedoro. She's a teacher and she's also a coordinator, Oji River LGA Women Support Women Community Network, WOS Connect. And also, I have with me in the studio Mr. Kingsley Ewuzie. He's an entrepreneur. Thank you for joining me on the program.
Thank you so much. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you too. You guys look lovely. Okay, so basically we're talking about masculinity, right?
Okay.
And you know how like society, kind of shapes how people grow up, particularly men and boy children. So now, first of all, I want to know, when you hear masculinity, looking at the society that we are and how we grew up and everything, what comes to your mind?
Okay, well, looking at masculinity, the society has made it that once you hear the word masculinity, you're talking about strength,
Okay.
you're talking about dominance, you're talking about, control, leadership. That's the traditional aspect, the traditional perspective that the society has actually placed manhood. But I don't think that you should just encompass that only. I think you should still include vulnerability, where men have to have the feelings to express their emotions. Okay, let me hold it there for you.
Oh wow, it seems like you have a lot more to say, but let's hear from Kingsley.
Well, masculinity to me is just being a man.
What is being a man?
And being a man is growing up to responsibility because as a child, even if a twin has to be a girl and a boy, you see more attention being paid to the boy child. Telling him, don't you know you're a man? You're not supposed to cry like this. Don't you know you're a man? You're not supposed to behave or to walk certain way. As a child, you see yourself being a man without even realizing that there is something different. But your parents just have to speak into you to understand that you're a man. And such a thing tends to give us that ego. Though there are alpha male, there are normal male, but those that show the factors attached to alpha male are sometimes inherent or sometimes things that are associated with environmental factor, probably from the mom or from the dad, pushing them to do more because they are male, without knowing that everybody is capable of being good, being bad. There are weaknesses, both in female gender or in male gender. Everybody is vulnerable to some certain degree. So I think masculinity has so much challenges. So being a man alone is a problem, but there are so many factors inherent to one. You yourself, looking at your contemporaries, they are doing this, they are doing that, Then you yourself, looking at your age mates, they are doing this, they are doing that. To be a man is not an easy work.
Actually, looking at the way psychologically, in fact, from birth, emotionally, both male and female has equal rates of emotions. But the way society places that of a man, they want them to man up, they want them to toughen up, they don't want them to express themselves. So these are the things we should actually instill in our boys. Let them learn how to express themselves. We shouldn't keep telling them to man up.
Yeah, you said something about alpha male, and I like that because since we are still talking about what masculinity means to us, this alpha male, when you hear be masculine, the first thing that comes to people's mind is alpha male. So what exactly does it mean when you say alpha male? Who is an alpha male?
Okay, an alpha male sometimes is like an extremist when it comes to being a man. And which, in quotes, is not so much a good factor so that the female gender can be able to relate. Because as an alpha male wants to be associated with only male and see the female folks as a minor. Like they feel like if you're a husband and the man of the house, I make zero, nobody makes zero. That's alpha male for them. When he's in an office, he wants to discuss some certain issue with the male before considering the female opinion. That's an alpha male. And it's not a good one in the society that we have today, where we are talking about equity, not really equality, because some people mistake equality for equity. Equity is fair contribution from both gender. Equality is we are equal. To be honest, a man and a woman cannot be equal in anything. There is what made a man a man, and there is what made a woman a woman. So everybody understanding their different roles can actually help a better society. But when an alpha male take it to the extreme, neglecting the role of a woman, thinking that being authoritative, being commanding, instilling discipline, whether it's fitting or not, I'm in charge. That's more like it. I'm in charge kind of attitude. It comes in, and they start sometimes as married people even go on to narcissism behavior because they are thinking that I have to be the man of the house. I think the alpha male thing is something that we should be looking into so that we can have a fair contribution and enjoy what female gender can bring into the family and to the world at large.
Okay, and talking about this thing now, that people don't just grow up to be alpha male.
Okay.
Like there are lots of factors that society. There are a lot of things that make someone grow up to be somebody like that. So now, what would you say are the societal pressures that make most men behave the way they behave?
Lack of expressiveness. When a man might have passed through a certain situation and want to cry, and the mom or the dad will say, "You don't cry, you are a man." You are instilling something because now he has the right to express his or her emotions. Babylon upbringing. Then you shun the emotions just because you want him to be a man. Now there are fair situations where there might be little or small in the environment. You say, okay, the ladies have it first. You are a man, you can manage. You know, you are trying to make the man to be tough. You know, when he should have an equal share of what rightly belongs to him, then you now tell the man, you are a man, you can manage, you know what it is. Why all of us can actually manage? Because there are men that demands more, and there are also females that demands more. You understand? So when there is no this balance, gradually, you begin to instill this thing in the man. So he begins to see himself as up, whereas the other people are down. You get it? Then when the man is doing well financially, academically, they keep on cheering without making him understand that even other people are not doing well. It's not as if just grace or ability, because all of us cannot be a doctor, all of us cannot be a pilot, all of us cannot be an engineer. Everybody fit into where they are best appreciated or what you are best at. You know, so when those intelligence abilities are prompting up and you are not guiding this very well, you keep on the praising and giving example, can't you see that you are not doing well, your brother is doing well. You make that one feel at the ego, kind of. You understand? Then that is when the alpha factors start coming into. So there is a lot to it. And
another factor to that is actually peer pressure among the male folks. Okay, so you know, boys are already taught that they're supposed to toughen up. They don't believe in anything feminism. They don't allow women to beat them, their girls' counterparts to beat them up in any area. For instance, now in the school sector, I actually had this experience last 2 weeks in my school. So these children were having just their normal game settings. And then a boy and a girl had an issue. The girl is actually in JSS2, much older than the boy that is in JSS1. But because he thinks he's a man, that a woman can just insult him and get away with it. And the peer pressure, the peer groups, the friends of the boy were like, can you just allow that girl to go that way? No, you can't. Even when you know that he can't beat this girl. But for him to satisfy his friends, he just had to. Then when the fight now started, it wasn't up to 5 minutes. The girl beat him up, messed him up, threw him on the floor. It was still the same friend that started laughing at him. But he was just trying to protect his ego. If he didn't fight back, the friend would be like, you not even try at all. Now they have beaten him up. So peer pressure is one of the factors that, you know, brings about toxic masculinity.
Yes, so now speaking about, first of all, I would like to talk about this toxic masculinity. But before I go to that, I'd also like to look at how friends, or like you mentioned, peer groups influence. Because even among, because I know sometimes men will say they're trying to do it for the women, you know, so that they won't see them as weak.
Which is one of our challenges.
How?
It's a big one.
How? Explain it to us.
Okay, because I think the challenges of men is actually in four folds. One is from the parents, one is from the female, one is from the society, and one is from self. In the sense that I am a man, then my mom will be expecting me to act more than the ladies. Most especially when a man is the firstborn of the child, of the family. You know, you see most firstborn becoming daddy when they are still tender. Most especially when the family is financially incapacitated. So it becomes a challenge. You see them doing hustling to help the parents because they just grew up to be that, to have, see that I need to fit in, and the parents will start pushing them. I need your assistant. So now you are living your life to meet up what your parents want from you as a child, a boy child. First of all, you are also living your life to impress the female folks because Odogu now. But
nobody is forcing you.
But it's an environmental factor because now you have gone to university or perhaps finished from school. Then you see this girl that you want to say hi, and you see another person driving car to say hi. It becomes a headache because you need to meet up. Yes, and pressure. Because that's what we're talking about today. Societal norms. Like when the topic says that behind the masks, I think that men are masks. We're not living our true self, our true identity. There are so many things we are shielding inside. Because if we are allowed to express our total feeling, some of us will choose to be women. But then again, it's good to be who you are. I love being a man till tomorrow, till next tomorrow. Because when you understand the balance, then you are good to go. So what are we talking about again? And so you see that there is challenges of female, you want to meet up, I will come to your hand in marriage. First of all, ask me, what do you do? I don't know what you do. Apparently, I saw you on the road. I was attracted by your beauty. I don't know you from Adam. I just saw your countenance, your personality, your characteristics. I appreciate that. I just, how are you? How do you do? My name is so. The next thing, like, you'll be looking out for my car.
Yeah.
The second is ask me, what do you do?
Yeah.
It's a pressure. Then, if I'm not financially buoyant, I'll start meditating or start stammering. Will she agree? Some of us end up lying just to get that attention. It's a pressure, you know. Then you yourself, within you, you look at your folks. This person doing this person doing this person doing it, and you start thinking, oh, what will I do? There are so many Yahoo today, all because of to meet up.
Yeah.
There are least female Yahoos than male Yahoos, if you can tell, because men want to meet up. If male does not, immediately to eat that money. But men is out to get it, you know. Your friends, pressure from your friends. You have called this person, I'm in Canada, you have called this person, I'm in UK, you have called this person, I'm a medical doctor. Then who are you?
But isn't this a case of lack of contentment?
It's not really contentment, because assuming you have, there is contentment in it, but when it grows into what you are expecting to be normal, because your parents are expecting that I've trained you, now you have time for you to take care of me. You understand? Then when you are not meeting up that, you start having unrest. You start thinking of you start being toxic. You start being angry. Then you now want to get it whichever way.
Yeah,
you know?
that's true.
So there is a lot to being a man.
But now the problem okay, aside women, like you've mentioned, we also find that even men too also like inflict these things on their fellow men by saying things like, maybe if you are sad about something, or you find your guy, your friend that's supposed to console you is also laughing at you. So
are you not a man?
You understand? It's either laughing at you or and there's something I've noticed among men, male friendships as opposed to female friendships. They don't take things seriously. Like you can tell, like as a guy now, you can call your guy and tell him, maybe you tell him your problem, and maybe you just say something very unnecessary, you know, instead of maybe getting you to open up more, listen to you. So why is that even among men, even among the guys, that vulnerability, that space to be free is still not there?
Because they started training us from you are a man up. Most times in a family, you see the man dying first before the woman. Women are vulnerable. They are vocal. They speak their mind. They gossip. They shout. Hey, I'm dying, When they have a misunderstanding between families, it's the female that will first of all call, Mommy, I don't know what is happening in this family. The man will shield it. We don't want to speak up. Sometimes they might come to a settle a dispute between a man and a woman. You see the woman shouting. You feel like the man is a nonsense man. But by the time he started stating his problems one after the other, then you know that he's really passing through a lot. It's not just the female. So now, because to open up is a problem, and because we don't know how to open up, we also don't know how to listen. Because listening is different from hearing. You could be talking to your fellow guy, you just be hearing. The next thing is in his mind is Arsenal match, how to go to that. Hey guy, come make we go drink. But drinking does not solve the problem. Because after drinking, he goes home and still face the challenge. So men do not really have actual means of ironing out their problem. They compound it. Over time, they blow up anxiety, high blood pressure, suicide. Because if you check the amount of suicide in society today, it's more in men. You understand? If you check the mortality rate, it's high in men. You understand? So these are, if you check the madness rates, insanity, mental health
depression,
it's more in men. You understand? So if you go to psychiatric now, if you check the analysis of men, you know that men are a lot there. Why? Because of pressure from friends. When you are making it as a person, as a male child, encourage your friend. Don't surprise them. Don't be the one that will come and say, "Guy, have an idea. Here is you there. Nah, wow. This life, now wow." You know, you're not being fair. You're not helping the society. You should be the one that say, "Oh, how are you? Hope you're doing great. Don't worry, everything's gonna be all right. I was once here. I trust one day you'll come up." Then that's what male should be encouraging among themselves. Then you as a male, you should be able to have that listening ear to understand that there is always time for everything. There is a time when someone is in one phase, two phase, three phase. And this phase teaches you a lot. It's bringing you up. So when you see someone at his weakest phase, understand that he's growing.
Yeah.
Age is just a number.
That's
Because some
good.
people can blow at 40, some people can blow at 50, some people can even blow at 60.
Yeah.
So that you see a male that's not doing well at 40 doesn't mean that he's a fool. He's still waiting. There is a time when he will blow up. Those things you did in 10 years, he could do it in 1 year.
Yeah.
There's always a time. I encourage people that life has a formula of its own. They can So when you have this intrinsic understanding that this person would have tried a lot and still not working, but one day it will work.
Yeah.
Instead of you venturing into something that is, detrimental to yourself and to the society at large. So I encourage you, please have a listening ability.
Yeah.
Everything does not end in a beer parlor,
In jokes,
or in
and
jokes,
all of that.
or in drinking, or in hanging out, or
Yeah.
even going out and say, take this girl, just use it and calm yourself.
Yeah,
It doesn't-
you look like you want to say something.
Yeah, actually, everything doesn't end in violence, because the way some men express themselves, even in
Violence, yeah.
they just want to push, they want to flame up, they want everyone to understand, they don't want to take their time, and relate their issues, their burdens, so that they can still hear out. Like you rightly said, they should learn how to hear out. Sometimes women even want to advise them, but they don't want to hear. They want to push it violently. That's too bad. That's very bad. Violently.
But something prompted the violent act.
Is this thing we are
Yes,
talking about?
that's the
now.
society.
Yeah.
Because when they don't give me a fair hearing,
they
when
keep bottling this thing.
bottling it.
One day
So
to
when it
burst.
comes out very. So now let's go into toxic masculinity. Now I want to understand what's the difference between toxic masculinity and being a normal human male.
Okay, well, I would say a male is still the same as female, still the same God that created us, gave us the same emotions when we were born. Okay, so a man's supposed to be someone that has responsibility, that has feeling, that has the ability to, relate, love deeply, and then express himself. This is what a real man's supposed to be. Somebody that is sympathetic, empathetic, responsible. So, but looking at the toxic masculinity, we've actually discussed the factors that bring about these things. This is the reason why it seems as if some men are not really expressing that real man they're supposed to express, that integrity, that love they're supposed to share, because they've already been taught the other way around. So the major difference here now is the pressure associated with whom a man is. Let's just see men as normal human beings that God just created with normal emotions. Let them express themselves. Let them feel free to, say what they feel. Here in the family, like give an instance with twins, a boy and a girl. These are two lovely children giving birth to a family, giving birth by a couple. And you see, when they are not training the girl child, they are comforting her when she cries. They say, no, baby, don't cry, this, that. But when it's a guy, they say, why are you crying like a girl? Are you a girl? Man up, tough. No, we should allow them to express their emotions. If they really want to go into arts, let the boy go into arts or singing. Anything he feel like this is what he wants to do as a human being, let him do it. Let us allow them to express themselves. I'm not just putting unnecessary pressure. Please, this pressure should just come to an end. Let us bring revolution. Let us bring revolution on this. We can stop it. These things are learned. They were not from birth. It can still be stopped. So let me just read it for now.
There is quite, toxicity is in many categories.
Yes.
Some men are toxic in the house. They are not outside.
Outside, exactly.
Some are toxic outside. They are not in the house. Some are toxic both in the house, outside, in the office, in the market. They are fighting everywhere. So this toxicity is really a big problem, because that's one of the major issue now when you talk about dysfunctional families, because I believe that toxicity starts from family.
Yeah.
Because family is the foundation of all of us.
Yes.
When we didn't get it right, as a father I am, to my children watch me fight with my wife. What am I teaching them? Is it not toxicity? Because they get traumatized. And when this thing keep on, because children are tabula rasa, nothing in their brain. Whatever you are feeding them with, they are
That's what
getting
they
it.
take.
They take-
Yeah.
Now, toxicity starts in a very simplistic form. I watch my child, the older one, crying for the younger one. And sometimes I'm like, no, you don't have to cry. Let's resolve the issue. But I've seen an instant where, why are you crying for him? Beat him back. They start fighting. That is the origin of toxicity. Then when they start fighting, both between boys and boys, between girls and girls, by the time they are in secondary school, you might be in the market, your neighbor will call you that your children are fighting. You championed it. You didn't teach them resolution because conflict is inevitable. Then whenever you think about conflict, next thing you think about is conflict resolution. So when your children have conflict at home, how do you resolve it without encouraging them to fight? Let's go to in school. Some parents will come back with, maybe in my child's school, some people will come back with scratches on their face. The parents will write on the platform, don't worry, my child is coming with his own finger, and he will, whatever do this, he will do more. You're encouraging them.
Wow.
You understand?
Yeah.
Because when they go to school, they're looking for a face to scratch. These are little pupils, maybe while playing, finger scratches. You understand? Or who beat you? Then you say, it's that boy. You are crying for that boy. You go and beat him back. You are building a warrior. You are building a toxic male without knowing.
Emotionless one.
That is one you just impute in them without knowing. Then there is one that is pressure from environment. I have a practical example. I'm a very simple person. I don't like fighting. But I have a boy in my street when I was growing up. Every day he would come in my way, challenging me, pushing me, you talk, you this, you this. So one day I look at him and say, I'm the same age with him. I look at this boy. What does this boy mean? And I just carried him up on the floor and started feeding him with sand.
What?
Yes. So since that day, that boy never comes my way.
You won't.
And that is also environmental factor. This is not me. I just acted out of pressure. I'm being pushed. It doesn't mean I opened up to someone would have called him to order. What if I have harmed him that day? What if I pushed him into water? Because I could do that because I was really, really hot.
Yes.
I felt like I have done enough. Let me put an end to it.
Yeah.
I could have done something worse. Then they could have tagged me toxic. Whereas I'm a very simple person by nature. That scenario will not stop playing in my mind. I think that's one of the fights I've had in my life that I won't forget in a hurry. So there are so many things. When you are not performing well at school, then your parents should have encouraged you. What they will do is that start comparison factor. Jidenna took first position. Informa took second position. What are you doing? That could boil in jealousy. Then when you see Informa, you're not happy. Any little thing Informa do, you are provoked, want to fight him. Not because he did that, but because why is he getting first position? I'm not getting first position. These are parental factors.
Yeah.
Then why don't you call him and tell him that you are doing well? I am proud of you. Even if you got first, you are doing your best. Provided you know that the child is doing his or her best.
Yes.
These are what brings about toxicity in male. Because, and even generally, both female and male, that also can count in them. But then when you now get to that level of you wanted to marry, someone was telling me that he's looking for a girl. All these girls, they are also after money. Once they look at me, they feel like I don't have money. You could just start having unrest. From unrest, you start smoking because you wanted to suppress that feeling. But this is not something that you needed smoking to suppress. You can actually talk to someone.
Therapy.
Yeah, therapy. That one I've not even gone.
You have-
Not even got into that one. Is just that you are looking for who to marry,
maybe-
and then your parents want you to marry. You want to marry, but because you feel like maybe that could also be inferiority complex because you feel like he doesn't have enough money. So whoever he talks to is not weighing him by the size of his pocket.
His pocket,
You
yes.
understand? So you see the person getting aggressive.
Yeah.
And before you see the person, you're already being toxic without it because it's a gradual process. It just drops.
Okay. Another factor I think is the media.
Okay.
The media has actually done more harm than good. When these boys watch from cartoon, they watch how violent men can be. So in their mind, this is man. This is what a man should be. This is how a man should behave. You see. So and then some of the celebrities they watch and make their role models. Some of them brag how they beat women up, this and that. So they take it as a role model. So this is actually influencing their lives from childhood, stemming from the little cartoons they watch, from films and the rest. So media should also portray a balanced view of who a man should be. A man
yes.
that can still express vulnerability as a strength. I
Okay.
think that will help our children.
All right. Now, since we are still talking on toxic masculinity, now how would you say that it has affected things when it comes to gender-based violence? Because we've talked about violence even among friends, but how has that now moved over to, violence in the home or just gender, but even mental health? Like, what are the effects of these pressures that society and everybody's putting on men?
The effect is cumbersome and it's threatening. I was watching a documentary by a celebrity that was divorced. So he has been on air talking about his story. Then the wife now decided to come and speak up because the wife haven't speaking up for a long time. So when the wife was speaking, the child that was about 18 years plus was also there, a boy. So when the boy was asked to speak, he said he narrated what the mom experienced while living with the father and how the father took them away from the mom and made them to understand that their mom is going insane. So now he's scared because he said that at this point in time now, I'm scared that I might end up like my father. He said that his friends always caution him about his character, how he is always aggressive, expressing what he encountered while growing up. You know,
Generational trauma.
so it boils down to dysfunctionality in our homes. When you have a toxic man in the house, I know we are not verbal beings, just like female, but at least you should be communicate because a woman is there to talk. She want to be heard. So when a woman is talking and you're not doing the listening, there's a problem. And then and a slightest provocation, you are slapping, you are spanking, you are pushing, you are abusing, both verbal, both physical. Then it's down. I watched a clip about a police officer fighting with a wife about last month. I can't remember when this happened, but I saw how the children were shouting, trying to hold their dad.
Yes,
You
yes,
watch that.
yes, I
So
saw
you
that.
could imagine the shock and the trauma that would have generated in their mind. And if they're not controlled, they could grow up thinking that that's how family should be. Fighting, boxing, beating, and reconciling. But that's not what family should be. So there are so many things that this toxicity in a male have done to family because family should be that setting where everybody sit, laugh, be
Yes, a
happy,
safe space.
humane. When you're going home, you are going with the mindset of let me go and relax. You know? So and sometimes I would like to say that also female partly contribute because you cannot differentiate the toxicity of family without putting the female factor. Because if a woman is not well nurtured, he tends to provoke what a man is already carrying. Because I could tell you for once that I have a male child, I have female, and when they were growing up, I used to buy a box of toy. In that box of toy, there are so many toys inside it. So these two guys, I have two male first. When they go to those toys, they pick up cars, they pick up footballs, anything teddy, they toss it aside.
Yeah.
They're already expressing masculinity.
Yeah.
You see that to be a man is just an inherent thing. So whatever we get as a societal norms and expectation, I think that we grow up and start seeing, but there is thing in us. So when a woman is in the house, I chose to be a man and a woman at the same time, there will be an imbalance that could provoke. Because I've known someone that is not even so much a beater, but he married and become a beater and become toxic because of the choice of the wife the person married. Because you are narrowing this thing down to home. So we cannot remove the part of the woman as a contributing factor to why a man becomes toxic. Because you know that you are a man in the office, I know. You come, everybody respects you, talk to you. Of course, I don't expect them to bow the way your wife cannot be like them. But to some extent, there are shared responsibility. When you begin to play your role, play the husband role, there will be a problem. When you don't know where the line should be drawn, as much as we are couple, but there are your expectations that you're supposed to be meeting. You understand? When you're not meeting those things, there'll be a problem. When one, as a story I heard that a man in the beer parlor was drinking and was having the picture of the wife. So when he take a scoop of alcohol, he will look at the wife. You keep on, people will be like, it seems like this man loved the wife so much. So one day, someone Korean told him, why always anytime you drinking alcohol, you're looking at your wife? He said that why he always look at the wife is that he wouldn't go home till he's sure that he cannot recognize that it's the wife on this picture.
Oh wow.
That once
Wow.
he's sure that he cannot recognize this face, that's when he start going home.
Going home.
And once he go home, if she's saying anything, it's not for him. He just
Sleep
sleep
off.
off.
Wow.
You know, that is coming from maybe still a toxic woman. Because you should manage, man. Women should know how to make us act better. Don't turn us into what we are not into.
What about when it comes to like mental health, aside from the home?
Mhm.
What about how it affects men's mental health?
Of course, in a very diverse manner, it affects us because once your mind is not together to what you want. Okay, I can put that. You know, we are still talking about toxicity and how it affects mental health because now some people are actually not stable mentally because some in this part of the world that we cannot be able to differentiate mental health because people now there are things someone that have gone to a psychiatric hospital are meant to be exposed to. For example, if you go to psychiatric hospital, that you're not supposed to be doing any work that has to do with tech, brain work, because you have been sedated. So that sedation they give them, the brain has been altered. So once you have passed through some certain sickness, some certain, as a child, some certain exposure, you're not supposed to go to a work that is mental demanding. And once you do that, you see yourself getting a certain character that is not healthy because mental health in many categories because of course we have some part of the brain depends on the part that is being affected. You see some people that can have a mental health, they are quiet, they are not talking.
No, but I'm talking about like
some depression.
Yes.
Mental health like depression.
Depression, okay.
Most of them go into depression, and from that depression, suicide. That's where we talk about that the suicidal rate in male is far greater than that of female. So that's a very big challenge to their mental health. Then another problem that toxicity can bring in our society is you see most of these toxic guys, they are the ones that are involved in raping.
Yeah.
They are the ones that are involved in kidnapping because they are inhuman. In fact, their hearts are already at their back. They don't have emotions, they don't care, they don't want to know. They are out. They want to kill, they want to destroy, they don't want to hear anything, they just want to satisfy themselves. So this is what toxicity can bring about. Okay, some of them trying to meet up with the societal demands, they will go into robbery, they will go into things
Like you said, 419, Yahoo.
Thank you, Yahoo. Yahoo, that's it. That's the peak of it this time around. Even little children, some of them in primary school, secondary school, they've gone into Yahoo.
That's true.
Because of pressure. They want to ride car. They've heard that one of their age mates, 18 years already riding the highest or the most current car, and they want to belong. So these are some of the effects that is having in our societal lives.
So now, what can we do? Like, what can we do, both as individuals, as society, to create a safer space for men? Because one thing is to create a safe space, another thing is for the people you are creating a safe space for to know that there is a safe space for men. You know, so what's the way forward? Like, what are your thoughts that on what can be done to like make a difference and change the way things are?
We have to rewrite the norms. First of all, in society today, there are so many careers that are always people see it as feminine career.
Yes.
Very bad. Because there are some certain career as a boy child you want to venture into. Your mother or your father will tell you, what are you, why? This is for female.
Something like poetry,
and even hair braiding, teaching and
yes.
braiding of hair. You understand? Because today in society that everybody wants to have a medical doctor, an engineer, and a lawyer, a pilot, name them. But when you are watching your child, you see that the way he's going, he has his own talent that might not align to what you are expecting of him. then allow him to be free.
All right.
Allow him to express himself. Allow him to go the way he wants to go, because there is no career that I can see that this is only for female, only for male. Because so many people have been pushed into a field that they are not fitting. And you see them struggling afterwards, trying to meet up. This is not the career they chose by themselves. This is a career their mom took jump from and feel for them.
The one that is suiting for their
Yeah,
because they are male.
yeah, because they
Yeah.
are male. Some of them want to be a caterer. For example, my
Yeah.
first child, he likes kitchen. So he's even in primary one, but he want to turn that rice, he want to turn. It doesn't make him less of a man. You understand?
Yeah.
I wouldn't tell him, oh, this is for female. I wouldn't do that. I would also encourage him, because he might be the world's greatest chef. Who
Yes,
knows?
exactly.
There-
We're actually running out of time now, so can we just very quickly run
Okay.
it through, so that Faith can as well,
Okay.
give her own.
Okay, so there are so many factors. So we have to start changing the norms. You have to start telling a boy you can do it. You have to start encouraging both boy and girl, making them understand that your boy does not make you, like God.
Yes.
You're also a human being as much as you were a boy. So you should be able to, we parents should be able to know how to guide, because now the grown up are already carrying it in their
They are
head.
carrying it
So
already.
it's very, very difficult to change it.
So it's to start from
We start
children.
from now, and start also creating sensitization and awareness about mental health, about toxicity, the effects. And then by that awareness, those that want to rethink and retrace their step can actually come back, because
Yeah.
the ability to, once you want to go higher in life, you should be able to have a teachable spirit, the ability to learn, to unlearn, and to relearn.
Yeah.
So if there are
Okay.
things,
Yeah. Coming into the school sector, because we just need to catch them young now. These ones that are not yet into that, let's know how to redeem it. So I think the school system should be able to include mental health and emotional education. Let them include it in our curriculum, where they start teaching these children from their nursery, primary, secondary,
All right.
the strength, to be vulnerable, the ability to be vulnerable,
All right.
and then to speak up and express their emotions.
Thank you so much, Faith. Thank you so much, Kingsley. I had a great time with this conversation. Thank you for coming. All right, Gender Perspectives will be back in a moment. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Now, when it comes to masculinity, not everything we believe is true. Now, in this segment of the program, we're going to separate common assumptions from reality. And under today's theme, we're tackling some of the most persistent myths about what it means to be a man, and ideas like real men don't cry, or, masculinity is all about strength and the like. So watch and learn. All right, and that brings us to the end of today's episode of Gender Perspectives, where we've taken a closer look at unpacking the myths, expectations, and realities surrounding masculinity. Now, we've heard powerful insights, we've challenged long standing stereotypes, and we've opened up space for more honest conversation about what it truly means to be a man in today's world. And the journey towards healthier, more inclusive expressions of masculinity is not just a men's issue, it's actually a human one. So, as we leave you today, we encourage you to keep asking questions, keep challenging norms, and most importantly, keep the conversation going because real change begins when we are willing to look behind the mask and see each other for who we truly are. Well, thank you for joining us, and until next time, I am Uchenna Chimdi Oluoha. Goodbye.